Welcome back inside the janitor's closet. Josh Frey-Sam, Bryce Hunt here with you folks for playoffs. Playoffs. We got playoff now. No longer super wild card weekend that I'm seeing, Josh, but we have wild card football this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We have a full slate of football, some college sprinkled in on Thursday, Friday, Josh. Special time. These 5 days are always special,
Yep.
but especially special in the NFL gambling slate. We have two plays. We're going to tackle the night games, Sunday and Saturday. Your Green Bay Packers are in action. We're going to be looking at that game a little bit. But what are you seeing from this slate a little bit as a whole? You talked about potentially having three excess plays coming from the two in our best bet show tonight.
Yep.
What are you feeling on this playoff weekend?
Yeah, no, there's a lot that you like, there's a lot that you want to take, and then just a lot of uncertainty as we were kind of talking about the playoffs brings just a whole different beast. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. You never know what could happen in a lot of these do or die situations for these teams. The matchups are really fascinating. I mean, they're fascinating every single year, but like they're fascinating this year. You look at the Rams Panthers, you got a seasoned team in the Rams, heavy road favorites. Do you really want to take that heavy of a road favorite in the playoffs against a inexperienced Panthers team, right? You got the Packers and Bears meeting for the third time. Who knows what happens in a game when you have teams meeting for the third time overall. And then Bills and Jags are kind of the same situation, similar situation to the Panthers and Rams, right? Got the experienced Bills team. Everybody wants to say this is Josh Allen's opportunity. And then the Jags, Liam Cohen and company, first time calling a playoff game as a head coach for him in that spot. Banged up 49ers and the Eagles once again trying to get back to where they are expecting to get to, and that is the Super Bowl. And then this Patriots team, you know, are do they keep things rolling against a Chargers team that is banged up in their own right, right? And then what I think might be maybe not the most entertaining game of the bunch, but might be the most fascinating game of the bunch is the one that is going to be played on Monday night between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people, depending on how you ask, going back and forth, and people, there's a lot of the jury's still out on this one and how this one's going to kind of go. I'm fascinated by it, but the matchups as a whole, man, every year they are fascinating, but there's something particular about this year. I think that it's the top two seeds in this year's playoffs. The quarterbacks have a combined two playoff starts between them, which is crazy to think about, right? So these are teams that between all the top seeds and really the matchups that we're going to watch this weekend, you kind of have this. You're fighting yourself a little bit between the experience factor with some of them, the injuries, of course, and then the coaching staffs that are playing that are coaching against each other in these spots. It makes for some fascinating handicapping, and we've hopefully whittled through down to a couple of best bets here. But like you mentioned, there's a couple of other plays I like. We'll have the folks will have to stay tuned for that one on the day of these games.
Yeah, you mentioned it's a refreshing slate, right? The Chiefs aren't here, obviously. The Lions aren't here. The Ravens aren't here. There's a lot of turnover in this playoff slate. We have three first-time head coaches making their playoff debut with the teams that they're currently coaching. One of those being Ben Johnson, who takes over for the Chicago Bears, instantly wins the NFC North. But the Green Bay Packers, your Green Bay Packers, Josh, beat them the first time out. It kind of took a miracle for the Bears to beat them the second time out. They're going to get a third shot at this one Saturday night. That's going to be where our first play lies for this weekend.
Yeah, and we're going to take the road chalk here, which is pretty much a pick 'em, but we're going to go Green Bay -1 for 3 units here. Now, weather is of note in this game for sure. We don't really care about the cold too much. But what we do care about and what affects some people who maybe we're not betting the total obviously in this game, but what would affect some people who are betting the total. I did take a peek at the over early on in the week of this game. Wind. It's gonna be pretty windy in this game. It was windy the last time these two teams played as well. You saw there's that replay of Jordan Love trying to hit Christian Watson in the back of the end zone, and his ball just took a quick right on him. It looked like a two-seam. Bryce, you're familiar with that one, but the wind was definitely a factor in that game. It will be once again in this one, two strong rushing attacks going facing each other, but also obviously the Green Bay Packers, as we've talked about on this channel, like to air the ball out as much as anybody in the league. Here's where we're going with this, Bryce. The thought process behind it. You kind of talked about it. You hit the nail on the head. These two teams, Green Bay, Chicago, played each other twice already this year, obviously in the division. Green Bay, they kind of dominated both of those games. I'm not going to lie, man. And if we're being real, the Chicago Bears were a miracle, as you mentioned, away on onside kick recovery away from being 1-5 in the NFC North this year. 1-5 in divisional play, and they're hosting a playoff game here, right? They go and they beat the Minnesota Vikings in a close one, and they go scuzz one out against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers dominated both of these matchups here, and there's something to that. I think, I don't know if it's because Ben Johnson coached with the Lions for a few years beforehand, so these teams within the division kind of have a bead on him a little bit as to how he likes to call his offense, how he likes to coach and stuff. I don't know if that's the case. That's kind of my best guess at it. But the point is that Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears have not necessarily had their best efforts in these against these divisional opponents. The other thing is, man, Chicago's kind of the part that I really like with Green Bay here. Chicago's kind of been, for lack of a better word, really fortunate this year, like to get to where they are. A stat that I think, kind of epitomizes that. Chicago's 2-6 this season in games where they don't record at least 2 turnovers. So we're talking about a defense. Now, this defense has been incredibly opportunistic all year, right? Among the league leaders in turnovers, incredibly opportunistic. But if this defense isn't recording at least 2 turnovers a game, they're 2-6 in those games, man. So, I mean, that kind of points to this is a team that was, for most of the season, negative in the point differential. That tells you what you need to know as well. The Chicago Bears have been extremely fortunate all year. Now, if we're going to go look at returnees, injuries, all that kind of stuff, Bears have not had Rome Odunze in either of these matchups this year. He's back this week for this game. Did not have Luther Burden in the second matchup. He's back this week. He's going to be for this one. Bears also didn't have Tremaine Edmonds. They had Tremaine Edmonds, for the second matchup. He finally returned after his long injury. He is obviously back, and he's big for that defense. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a concussion. Very unlikely, long shot to play in this game. Defensive back for the Bears. On the Packers side, Jordan Love was hurt in their most recent meeting. You'll remember Malik Willis finished that game. Josh Jacobs was limited in that game as well. Zach Tom, their right tackle, talented, one of the best offensive linemen in the National Football League, was also out in that game. He's back for this game. Also on the defensive side of the ball for Green Bay, Evan Williams. If you don't know, you will know very soon about Evan Williams. If you're not a Green Bay Packers fan, was hurt, did not play in that game. He's back for this game. And Trayvon Diggs, who can definitely be a difference maker with his ball skills, was not a Packer yet at that point the last time these two teams played, and he is going to be making a start on this defense. So, with all of that being said, I mentioned the Bears were a miracle away from a 1-5 record in the NFC North. Caleb Williams making his first playoff start. Ben Johnson, first game as a head coach in this game. I'm throwing a ton of information at the folks here, but these again were two games in which Green Bay dominated. And now they have a short number that they can cover on the road here. I believe Green Bay gets this one done, takes advantage of a team that has been kind of getting by with their fortunes. Green Bay -1 for 3 units. Taking it.
Always special when we get that third matchup, a divisional matchup to start the playoffs is always a fun way to spend the wild card weekend. Looking forward to that one from the NFC North, your Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears. We're rolling with the Pack -1 for 3 units, as Josh mentioned, throwing around some big units here. We have another one coming and another first-year head coach, not first time in the playoffs for Mike Vrabel, who's got a 2-3 record in his playoff coaching career with the Tennessee Titans. But he is leading the New England Patriots to a home playoff game, the first of Drake May's career, hosting Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and the Los Angeles Chargers here for Sunday Night Football.
Yep. So play here is New England -3.5 for 3 units. We're taking the favorites once again in this spot. Big of note here. We're talking to Marion Hampton dealing with an high ankle with an ankle injury. Pardon me for this. I don't know if he plays in this game. That's huge, obviously, for the Los Angeles Chargers who want to run the football. You talk about a team that wants to run the football, but has kind of been having to throw all season. But on the counteracting that, if Amari Hampton does play, Milton Williams, the key free agent signing for the Patriots this season, is back. And although he's still battling through his high ankle sprain himself, but that is significant because Milton Williams, as soon as he left, as soon as he went down with his high ankle sprain earlier this season, the New England Patriots run defense, which was so good to start the year, took a dramatic step back in the wrong direction there. And so Milton Williams back makes a huge difference for this run defense. And then I just don't think that the Los Angeles Chargers weapons match up very well with this New England Patriots secondary. In the last 10 years, Bryce, here's a pretty key stat for us, trend, I should say, going into this game. In the last decade, a dome team that dome teams are 1-4 straight up on the road in playoff games when the temperature is below 40 degrees. Okay, so these dome teams who are on the road when the temperature is cold, 1-14 in the last decade. Okay, as of recording day, the weather is supposed to be around 32 degrees Fahrenheit in this game. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit chillier. That's about 0 degrees Celsius for us. That ain't nothing for us, obviously, us Canadians. But it's a little chilly for the Americans and playing ball down there, right? They're a little bit more fickle than we are, of course. Anyways, I digress. The play here, New England minus 3.5 for 3 units. Listen, you mentioned obviously the big thing working against us in this spot that people are going to point to. Drake May making his first playoff start, going up against Justin Herbert, who's been there, done that, and Jim Harbaugh, who's been there, done that. The big offsetter, I guess, the reason why I have no problem making this play is because of Mike Vrabel and that coaching staff. And so I'm confident taking the home team in this spot. Los Angeles is banged up. New England's hitting their stride. They've been monsters all year. I wouldn't be shocked if this team goes on and even wins the AFC. I say that tongue in cheek, hoping that the Buffalo Bills are actually the ones that do that and our futures bet comes through. But nevertheless, New England minus 3.5 for 3 units is the play.
All right, so there you have it, the 2 best bets for the night game, Saturday, Sunday. Josh mentioned at the top of the show, could be 2-3 plays still coming. You can find those on X at TJC Bets, or you could get those emailed straight to your email by subscribing to our free newsletter. A link to that will be in the description of this video. We appreciate you folks tuning in. If you want to do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let Josh know that it was pretty foul of him to take a shot at our American viewers there, if you so choose. And we will see you folks next week right here for some more playoff action for our best bets video. Josh, take it easy, man, and we will see the folks next time.
Yes, sir.